So we're going to use a tool called Moran's eye, which is, I just want to clarify, very different than bird's eye or even bullseye, like that. It's also very different than the eye of Sauron. And for those of you who are old enough to remember and appreciate this, wait for it. Yeah, the eye of the tiger. It's also not that eye. What we're actually talking about, sorry, that was pretty nerdy. What we're talking about is a guy named Pat Moran. He's an Australian. He's the one who developed the index for identifying spatial autocorrelation. We're also not talking about his actual eye. We're talking about this eye. And I know it's hard to concentrate on big equations like this, especially with, you know, this guy and his high heels on the screen. So I'll cover it up with the actual tool and we'll get back to, you know, real business. Yeah, so what we're talking about is Moran's eye, the tool. It's the single most common measure of spatial autocorrelation. Moran's eye tells us how related values are based on the locations where they were measured. It tells us whether the pattern of the feature values is clustered, dispersed, or random. So just like the point pattern analyses, the output of Moran's eye can be classified as positive, negative, or no spatial autocorrelation, or random. But again, this time we're talking about the values associated with the spatial locations, not just the locations themselves. So positive spatial autocorrelation is when similar values cluster together in a map, and negative spatial autocorrelation is when dissimilar values are proximate in a map. And just really quickly, I want to draw your attention to the conceptualization of spatial relationships input parameter. This is a quick explanation of the options. I definitely recommend that you look this up in the ArcGIS resources or use the show help. If you click on this, it brings up a really nice definition of all the different methods for conceptualizing this. It's important because these can greatly impact the results, and I don't know, it's just worth always thinking about these inputs, right? So inverse distance means that all features influence all other features, but the closer something is, the more influence it has. So we're going back to Tobler's first law of geography. Distance band is another option, and that means that features outside a specified distance, a user-specified distance, don't influence the features within the area. And that's just two of them, but you can see how different they are and how big of an impact they might have on the results. Okay.